Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Outside Perspective with me, Adam. All right. Adam, you hear that squeak? Sorry, guys, my voice killing me, and I'm recording all of these intros, so you'll hear it on multiple episodes. Sorry. Anyway, so before I get to my guests, a couple housekeeping things. Really appreciate it. If you are enjoying the podcast, share this, tell your friends. Let's help grow this. Leave a 5-star review, subscribe. I appreciate everything. Again, if you are an artist, band, you have friends that are artists, and you sing, you rap. I don't care. Um, you're in a band. Send me your music. I would love to feature it on the outro. So we can share it. So send those to me at Adam@imposedwill.com. ADAM at IMPOSEDWILL.com. All right. So to my guests on this episode, I have Dr. James Spencer. And before I get into his bio, because it's impressive and he is a wealth of knowledge, I would first like to say you have to seize every opportunity in life. So I feel like I did do that with this episode. And I say that because I met Dr. Spencer at a recent 2-day workshop that we both attended at the On It Academy in Austin, Texas. It was for the Steel Clubs. They host a slew of unconventional training modality workshops, and they're all fantastic. But this is the first one I've attended. He's attended several in the past, and we met at this recent one. Now, at the time, I didn't actually know he was. I didn't know he was a doctor. I didn't know just kind of the wealth of knowledge that he had. I knew that we did agree. We had similar philosophies, and I knew he was a very smart guy. I could tell that just by talking to him. But yeah, so it's kind of one of these things where I think you guys will really enjoy this conversation. However, from a critical, I don't know, man, maybe you guys don't give a fuck, but I'm always critiquing myself and just trying to improve. I want to bring you guys a better podcast. And uh, this is kind of one of those things I was definitely ill prepared. I don't necessarily make formal questions or anything like that, but I do have usually an idea of what I want to talk about with somebody, and I've thought through kind of some opening things that we can kind of touch on and see where the conversation goes. But we just did this on the fly. We were at lunch or on lunch, how I don't know. So we were sitting outside during lunch, and I was like, "Fuck, man, let's podcast." Like he was just saying a lot of cool shit. It was very interesting, and I wanted to share it. So let me read you his bio because I just think it's fucking fascinating. So, Dr. Spencer is based in South Florida. He is a sports performance chiropractor, certified athletic trainer, and fellow of the International Academy of Medical Acupuncture. He has formal training in active release techniques, grafting technique, kinetocore functional dry needling, spider tech kinesiology tape, rock tape fascial movement taping, postural restoration institute, Y balance test, FMS, SFMA, Mike Boyle certified functional strength coach, and the Anna Academy of Unconventional Training. So I will have all his link in the show notes. But I really enjoyed talking to him, and I think you will enjoy listening. So here we go, guys. James Spencer, and now we're going. All right, awesome, dude. So we are in Austin, Texas right now. We are at the On It gym, and we are taking the Steel Club certification.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing today, dude?
Hey, doing well. Excited for the rest of the day and tomorrow.
Yeah, so for the folks listening, we are on a lunch break. We're sitting outside. It's beautiful here in Austin today, and we've just been soaking up just a ton of knowledge on the Steel Club,
Yeah.
and it's been awesome. It's been great. But first, let's back up just for half a second for the listeners, dude. Let's talk about you for a little bit.
Sure.
We're sitting here talking, and you're doing just so many great things, just kind of in the space of just like just health and wellness and just training. Let's give some folks some background on you, though.
Sure. So, background is I'm a sports chiropractor, athletic trainer. One thing that's unique is that I do dry needling, which is
What's that?
dry needling is different than acupuncture in the sense that think of this as we're trying to treat pain, trigger points, muscular dysfunction, range of motion issues. This has nothing to do with meridians, energy points, points on the body. If you look at the average depth of an acupuncture needle, it's 3/4 of an inch.
Mm-hmm.
Some needles that I have at my office are 5, 6 inches.
Oh shit.
So depth of penetration is way different.
So how does that? So when you go that deep,
Mhm.
like, are you not afraid of like hitting the wrong thing, or
Sure,
I guess
so
I don't have a lot of understanding of
yes,
that.
fortunately, I've had a lot of anatomy and physiology training. Landmarks help, but you do have to know your anatomy.
Yeah.
Yep,
So what does that do? So I mean, we kind of have an understanding of like acupuncture. I mean, you're just hitting certain points, the pressure points. Is that like relieving?
correct.
Help me understand this.
Yep. So
What's that doing?
think of dry needling like the best way that I envision it is it's a balloon and we need to pop it.
Okay.
And once that tension or energy is released, now we're going to get better ranges of motion.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get better conversations with the brain, and now that tissue is able to adapt a little bit better.
Okay. Cool. So how long have you been doing that?
I got certified in acupuncture in 2013, and then I followed up with a few dry needling courses in 2013 as well.
Okay. Nice. Nice. So we were speaking earlier a little bit, and you're letting me know. So you consult with several professional teams, right? So
Correct.
with baseball, we were talking about, and then, but I guess your primary area is fucking working with equestrian teams,
Yeah, man.
right? So let's talk about that a little bit, man. So how are you using? So you're using these modalities and these? I guess is modality is probably not the
Yeah,
right
no,
word
that's a
for
good
that.
word.
Is that the right word
Yeah,
for
yeah,
dry needling? Is
yeah.
that so? You're using this modality with these sports teams. Like, have you seen just huge improvements with these teams, or like what?
Yeah, since I was involved with dry needling, it was very early on. I worked in Houston, and my boss was on staff with the Texans,
Okay,
and he was their major dry needling guy. So through that, I saw a lot of physical change early on before I was even certified.
okay,
And then
okay.
once I was certified, I took that and kind of took it to a new level.
Is this something we're seeing a lot of teams doing?
Oh yeah,
Is it?
yeah,
Oh man. So I guess a lot of these teams they're just always looking for that next thing.
that 1%, baby.
Yeah, that 1% that we're talking about. That's fucking awesome, dude. That's cool. So I want because I've had the opportunity to sit here and talk to you quite a bit while we're
Sure.
not recording and learn a little bit about you. So I just want to share with the folks more of like what you're doing. So you've been in the industry for a little bit now.
Hmm.
Let's just talk about, I guess, your company
Yep.
and what you're doing with that.
Sure. So my company is the Bearded Kettlebell, which is
Oh, cool.
that's something that's I had to dive deep into who I was and really what attracted me to the industry and what I wanted to spread throughout the industry. And I grew up skateboarding, and I loved all the skateboarding shirts and the logos and everything about it.
Yeah.
And so I actually hand drew my logo, and I gave it to a friend of mine who brought it to real life.
Nice.
And from that, the bearded kettlebell is something that, and truthfully, I haven't even talked about this. People just think I have a beard, and that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
And I throw kettlebells around. But the reality is, my goal of the bearded kettlebell was to raise awareness
Hmm.
for prostate and prostate cancer awareness.
Oh, that's cool.
So, just like breast cancer awareness did for October, Movember, right?
Right.
That was more of the, hey, beards and mustaches, baby.
Right.
So I said, all right, what's an easy way for me to raise awareness, increase awareness of prostate cancer, or just cancer in general, and have fun with it?
Yeah.
So that's how I came up with the bearded kettlebell, and a proceed of every patient that I see goes to some sort of cancer research or foundation.
Wow, that's super cool. How long have you been doing this? Like, when was the inception of your company?
So I started, I want to say like 2014 is when I really started laying the foundation of my company and branching myself off as an individual practitioner and strength coach.
Okay.
And since then, it's kind of proliferated. I started doing more magazine writing, more blog writing, and fortunately, through the grace of God, a lot of things have really evolved.
Yeah, so 2014, I mean, we're 4 short years later,
Yep.
and here you are, you're working with high profile professional teams like
Sure.
who else
Sure.
who else are you working with? Can you share all that information? I don't know what the
Yeah,
privacy
so I
rules are
can't
around.
really give you names or athletes. I'm working with a few different organizations as far as grabbing that 1%, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's for the actual organization or for one individual athlete. And that's kind of the market that I've created on top of the equestrian stuff that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So you found yourself. Are you mostly working with baseball teams and equestrian teams? Are you venturing out into others like professional sports arenas and working with those athletes? Football,
Sure.
hockey, basketball, anything?
I do see those individual athletes,
Mm-hmm.
but not working for a professional team in that realm.
Okay.
Yep. Now for polo, I do work for one professional polo team, and like we were just talking
Yeah,
about.
let's dive into that, dude.
Yeah,
Let's talk about that. So you're based in Florida, right? So
correct.
let's tell the folks about where you're at and what's going on down there.
So I'm out of South Florida, particularly West Palm Beach, and then even more particular Wellington, Florida.
Hmm.
Wellington, Florida is the equestrian capital of the world.
Yeah, which is I had no idea.
Right.
That's such a cool thing to find out.
So it's pretty neat. I would say pretty much December through April
Hmm.
is full-blown equestrian for me. I don't have a lot of time to delve into other things at that point because we'll have polo matches 3, 4 times a week, and that's not even on top of practice or training.
Okay, okay. So, with the polo, I want to just really dive into like how you got into that. So I mean, you were telling me a little bit about it.
Yeah.
So let's tell the folks about it. Let's unpack that.
So I had a few clients that had come to me just based upon where my location was with my office, and fortunately one day I was sitting down watching 60 Minute Sports, and the last 15 minutes of that episode was about show jumping and equestrian polo performance in Wellington.
Uh-huh.
And from that point on, I really decided I need to create this niche. Not too many strength coaches, not too many medical practitioners are helping these people, and I would like to kind of lead the way.
Yeah.
So I delved into that, and I bought a lot of biomechanics books for equestrian riders and polo, and that's one thing that I just really started to eat up. I wanted to figure out how can we make the best polo athlete or the best equestrian athlete out there. And the one thing that I realized is what's unique about the equestrian market is it doesn't matter if you're male or female, you compete against each other.
Oh, really?
So that's pretty unique. And not only that, some of the best show jumpers are 65 years old.
Oh, shit.
So there's longevity in this sport.
Yeah. There's not too many sports like that to where
No.
you can steadily do it as you're going into advanced age, and you
Correct.
can continue to compete.
And get paid.
Yeah, and get paid. I do jujitsu, and I tell people I'm going to do it until I die.
Love it.
It's like one of those sports that you can kind of tweak it and adjust the way that you compete as you kind of as you do it during advanced age, and you start your body changes. You're not able to do certain things. But there's not a ton of sports that you can be active and competitive at a high level
Correct.
as you start entering advanced age. So what kind of things are you working with your athletes on, like, that are older,
Yep.
so that way they can compete at that level?
Just sticking to the basics. As we've learned this morning, longevity and performance. This is the most important aspect. It's not about this quick acute change. We need to lay the foundation and the education to let them know this is for long-term benefit
Yeah.
and long-term success. So a lot of it is laying the foundation.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yep.
Just letting them know, set that standard, let them know kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, well,
I don't know
listen,
what I
it's
wanted
like
to say
laying the
there.
foundation, and then we need to build that structure around it.
Hmm.
And if there is no foundation or there's no even education of their foundation,
Right,
something's going to crumble,
right.
right? And that could be an injury.
Hmm.
That could be, hey, maybe you fall off the horse, right?
Yeah, that's a long fall. Yeah, those athletes are something else. And as we were talking, I never really even thought about the world of just equestrian riders or polo players, and just the sheer just like core strength that you have to have, and coordination, and just all the athleticism that's involved with that.
Correct. Well, I mean, like you said, I don't admit this often, but I was a rider early on in my life too. And what was unique was just how to stay on a dynamic object while hitting a very small ball,
Yeah,
and the core strength that's required for that, as well as momentum. And what's crazy is not even that; it's holding on to the horse as it's hauling ass down the field.
yeah, that's just riding a galloping horse alone. is a challenge.
Correct.
And then I guess once you start adding in everything else, I said earlier, I think about the fucking like the old samurais, dude. They're riding horses, no hands, bow and arrow, killing folks.
Yep.
Like like once you actually take the time to like think about all the mechanics involved and like what is actually happening, it's incredibly impressive, dude.
Very, very. And it's interesting. I was reading a research article on weight training and polo athletes, right? And this was in the UK. And what they talked about was that it was statistically no polo player considered themselves to have a moderate workout throughout the week. And I don't know what their definition of moderate workout was, but if they're
Yeah.
not even going into moderate workouts, well, shit, they're not getting pushed.
Right.
There's no strength training going on there,
Zero.
right? So that's where I said, well, let's figure out how to create some of these systems and go, hey, let's lay the foundation for the polo teams.
Yeah.
Let's educate these guys. And it's difficult because there's a lot of cultural diversities in this. Some guys are from Argentina, right?
Hmm.
Some guys are from the States. Others are from the UK. So there's also different thought processes in nutrition, strength training. Do I even want to warm up? Are we eating fruit or anything during the workouts?
Mhm.
Like one thing that stuck out to me was these guys were eating Cape Cod chips during the middle of a Wednesday, 12 o'clock in South Florida.
What's that?
Cape Cod chips?
I don't know what that is.
Oh man, they're the best.
Really?
Yeah. So they're essentially it's very salty chips,
Okay.
and it's based off of an old like Argentinian principle that the salt would help you stay hydrated.
Huh. Have you read that book, The Salt Fix?
I have not.
I can't think of who it's by right now, but it's a really good book. Essentially, what the guy was just talking about is how a lot of people think that salt, like too much salt, is really bad for you, but that's not the case. Um, he talked some about just like our evolution, like how we've developed evolutionary, and how you can tell like we're meant, like we need the salts. And I'm not doing the book fucking justice
No,
right
you're
now.
good. You're
I'm
good.
not doing it justice. I feel like I do a lot of I love reading, but as of late I've been doing a lot of like Audible books.
Yep.
And I feel like I gotta like listen to an Audible book like two or three,
Twice.
yeah, at least twice to be able to like. I start talking to people about it, and I just quickly realize, oh fuck, like I didn't
You gotta
get all,
comprehend that better.
I didn't comprehend it as well as I thought. Like I got a good grasp on it, but not a good enough grasp to explain it well enough.
Sure.
Just fucked up that whole moment for you, dude.
It's all good. But that was, things like that. We had to just create
Hmm.
awareness for some of these athletes.
Yeah,
Especially when you are training a few days a week and, going and competing in matches at a very high level.
yeah. So you essentially you saw a market and there was nobody really in that space, and you've become the expert
Correct.
on how to train and perform in that space.
Correct.
How
Yep.
did you do that?
It's fortunately I've been given a few opportunities where whether it was an athlete that had come in or heard of me and I brought them results, and then like wildfire it spread. The key for a lot of this is just educating.
Mm-hmm.
I had to educate the owner, I had to educate the team, and then, hey, this is what we're going to be doing moving forward. Make sure everybody's on the same page. And of course, there's always some pushback with that,
Yeah,
but I think the results speak for themselves.
yeah.
This
Yeah.
year we had a very good year.
I think one of the most impressive things is that you didn't ask for permission. You you found out that where you lived is like the mecca of that sport, and then you learned everything that you could about it, and then you just started sharing that information.
Yep.
There was no permission needed. You just started doing, and as a result, 4 years later, like you've built a company and you consult, and most importantly, like you own your own time.
Correct.
Was what we were talking about.
Well, and I think you have to value that. I think for very early on in my career, I gave a lot of my time up, which was fine. You have to,
Yeah.
right? You got to get that experience, but then you need to strategically choose your time.
Yeah.
Don't just give it up freely, right?
Yeah.
And now that I have a family and a son, it's also now it's my family's time,
Right.
right? So those are things that I've got to consider too. Is it worth that?
Absolutely. Yeah. You definitely want to guard your time and just not waste it.
Correct.
Yeah. Um, I feel like there's this great quote that I heard, like in the beginning of your career, it's do more than you're paid for, so eventually you'll get paid for more than you do.
I like that.
Yeah, I thought that was it's just like, providing the value up front, and then it all comes back tenfold later on.
Correct.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what's next for, I guess, where you're going with what you're doing?
Yeah,
I don't
so
really know how to ask that
yeah,
question.
no, no. So next step for me, I
Yeah.
do have a few things on the forefront. I'm working on a patented piece of equipment right now that hopefully will be out by next year. That's something that me and I can say my team are very excited about
Yeah.
to release and see kind of what it becomes. And then also, I just hired a social media guy.
Okay, yeah, to do
S-
that piece of it.
Yeah, he's my best friend. He's the one that created my logo and my website.
Nice.
So, fortunately, there's a team aspect there and a family aspect, and those are people that I want to share my time with,
Mhm.
and create something special together.
Yeah, that's the most important part, dude. Building the team. You can't do it alone. Again, I got quotes for days, but say if you want to go far, or if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together.
I
Go with
like
a
that.
team. So you're just building your team right now,
Yep.
and just looking to take over the world.
You like we said earlier, pinky in the brain, baby.
Dude, Pinky in the Brain. I quote that all the time. Like, what are we gonna do tonight, Pinky? Well, or Brain, same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world,
That's
man.
it, man.
Try to take over the world. Cool, man. So, I don't think we have what? We don't have too much time. How long have we been going? I can't see. It's a quick one. We'll keep talking though.
That's all good.
Yeah, we'll keep talking. I want more background on you.
Sure.
So obviously you went to school, you got some degrees, but as far as I feel like in this space, coming to these certification classes, just continuing education, it's so big. Like what other kind of things have you been doing as far as to, I guess, to just further your knowledge? Like myself, I'm doing the Steel Club here on it, and then I'm gonna come back in November and do the Steel Mace. Are you doing that one too?
No, I'm
No.
not doing the steel
So
mace.
Steel Mace would be in November, but then like I'm just always just like studying and learning, constantly listening to podcasts. A couple other like certifications I got were like health coach and then
Sure.
like corrective exercise specialist, just to get the knowledge.
Sure.
Like they all sound nice. I guess like what all have you, I guess, like areas have you been studying? So we got the dry needling.
Yep. Yeah, so I have a lot of certifications, and people joke when they come into my office that you just see a wall of certifications.
Yeah.
But to be truthful, I'm very proud of them. I think it's been a lot of time and money and energy invested in them,
Yeah.
and that's something that you create and make your craft, right?
Mhm.
So a lot of my background is active release technique or ART,
Okay.
as well as Graston.
What's that?
So these are modalities that are used to, whether it's again pain,
Mhm.
increased range of motion, movement dysfunctions. That's what we're addressing with that. Dry needling, same thing, right?
Okay.
Now with Graston, and this is I'm going to throw this out there. I believe Graston was started from gua sha.
What's that?
All right, gua sha is an old Chinese medicine
Okay.
where they would take I think it was like an elephant tusk, and essentially scrape the shit out of the skin
Hmm.
because their belief was stagnant blood in that area caused disease.
Okay.
So if they could pull the blood to the surface, it would recycle and reheal the area.
Oh.
So Graston takes a very similar approach where it's a stainless steel instrument with a beveled edge,
Okay.
and it's just used to either break up the tissue or allow better range of motion. Post-surgical scars, it's phenomenal to get that scar tissue to break up. So that's really these modalities that I've explored early on in my career, and then I started getting into more movement-based things.
Okay.
Like, huge fan of Animal Flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have you taken one of their courses?
I have not, but ironically, Mike Fitch was a patient of mine.
Nice. Is he?
So
He started it.
he's the guy.
He's the guy. Fuck, man. They do a lot of courses in Florida.
Yep.
Yeah. They do a lot.
Mike used to be based out of Miami.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely like to check out one of their courses and see what it's all about. I wrestled in high school and a little bit in
Yeah.
college, so like a lot of that. You wrestle too?
No, but you're doing a lot of the same movements as Animal Flow.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
a lot of those movements they just remind me of wrestling,
Yep.
and they tie in well to jujitsu, and to me, like I see some they're doing, I'm like, oh, dude, they're just doing like sit-throughs and like hip hikes and stuff.
Right.
I'm just like, they got all these cool names for them. I'm like, that's just a fucking hip hike. I
Yeah.
don't know what they're doing.
Now, something interestingly enough, I just heard Mike on a podcast. I don't recall where it was, probably 2 weeks ago, and they did a 6-week research study that ground contact of hands and feet increased cognition.
Really?
So that's pretty damn cool, and it was
Yeah.
a 6-week study,
Yeah, that's super cool.
right? So if we can increase cognition just by getting on the ground and moving,
Yeah. Yeah, just building our relationship to the ground, you can improve your cognitive ability. I mean, anything to improve the brain.
interconnection.
Yeah, it's also huge. I'm always constantly looking for ways to improve the brain, and I've been kind of diving into some of the literature as of late, and a couple of the things that have just blown my mind that I didn't know about was like creatine
Mm-hmm.
can help with the brain and help protect the brain. I didn't know that. And there was a study from I think like '93. Like this is something that has been studied and we've known about for a really long time, but you don't ever hear anybody talk about creatine and like the neuroprotective properties of that.
Correct.
Or like one that's getting a lot of media time now is lion's mane mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
So just mushrooms in general. I mean, you take cordyceps or reishi, like they're all good for the brain too.
Correct.
There's just so many things that you can do to just improve your cognitive ability. It blows me away.
Well, you look at some of the neurotropics and stuff like that as well, on top of some of this stuff. I think what we're doing is we're evolving to make smarter human beings.
Yeah.
Whether it's better connection or better input, all of these formulas are going to help us,
Hmm.
right? And I think at the end of the day, it comes down to self-exploration.
Yeah.
What works best for you, right? And if you don't know that, you can't suggest it for anybody else,
Yeah.
right? And that's kind of the whole Gandhi approach that I try and take, is I don't suggest anything I've never done.
Right.
Whether it's an exercise, a supplement, it don't matter, right? And that's where I think that we have to evolve from that. But you can't give this information out unless you've tried it first.
Yeah, I agree. Things work great in theory, but once you start putting them into practice, maybe it's not the case. And if you haven't done it yourself and you don't have any experience, I mean, how are you going to guide somebody if you've never done it?
Well, that being said, so dry needling, I dry needle myself all the time.
Yeah.
So I know how to communicate with a patient when they panic or they feel something that they perceive as a threat.
Yeah.
I talk them through it and go, no, I felt that as well. And I educate them, hey, you should be feeling this.
Hmm.
And when they can feel that, then they instantly calm down and they go, okay, I'm going to trust this guy a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So not only does the modality work better then, but if I didn't experience that myself, how could I communicate that with my patient?
Right. Yeah. There's no way you could communicate that from a place of understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just had this thought. We were talking about cognitive ability and whatnot. Is there an issue with like CTE or TBI in the equestrian world? I mean, is that anything that you're aware of or anything like that? I was just kind of thinking about it because like the up and down and just the constant banging.
That's a
being-
very good question on the CTE and the TBI. I have had a lot of patients fall.
Yeah.
Which
or,
is
or
like-
falling, hitting your head.
It's very, 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 very common. If I don't have a rider fall at least once a season, I'm very surprised.
Really.
Now, that being said, like, yeah, we got to take the proper precautions, make sure we're doing, concussion testing and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I want to make sure that the helmets that these athletes are wearing are unique,
Yeah.
right? Because it's got to be like a football helmet. They may not go head-to-head with somebody, but when they fall off that horse at, 12, 13 feet in the air,
Yeah.
that's going to hurt.
That's a significant fall.
Right? Especially if the horse rolls up on them. And that's unfortunately very common. When they get spooked sometimes, I've had a few athletes where they've gotten rolled up on by the horse and it's either fractured their leg or, AC separation, rib fracture, whatever it may be.
Yeah, that's a large animal just to be toppling over a human being. We're not built to be fucking
No.
ran over by a horse.
No, not at, 1,300, 1,400 pounds.
Yeah, yeah, and I imagine that the horses that these athletes and teams have are by far they're extremely powerful. They're thoroughbred. I mean, they're not like a carnival horse that the kids are riding.
Nah, most of them are coming from Argentina for the polo horses. And most polo athletes have anywhere from 3 to like 15 horses.
Really?
Yep. Because it's like hockey where you're constantly interchanging during play. And 80% of the sport of polo is the horse. Because if you have a faster horse, you're going to be more successful.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So when you're working with these teams, are they traveling a lot? Are you on the road with them a lot? Like what's your time split like? I mean,
So yeah, it's seasonal for them. So most of them come to Wellington from December until April, and then they'll either go back to Argentina. Some will go out to Santa Barbara, out in California, and still continue to compete and play in that realm.
okay.
Like this year, we had the Queen's Cup over in the UK, so that was something pretty neat. I didn't get to travel with that, but a lot of these teams or individual guys will go elsewhere and still compete.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, that's just such a fascinating world, man. Just all of that. Um,
And listen, I mean, like I would like to even say, I'm not an expert yet. I'm still learning at this stuff, right?
yeah.
Although I've done a lot of research and reading and work, I still have a lot of learning to do, and that's one thing that I'll humble down and say, like, I learn a lot from my athletes. Their feedbacks of whether holding a mallet in a certain position or
Mhm.
swinging a mallet in a certain position, if they've got a longer lever arm, like that changes a lot of the dynamics.
Right.
So a lot of the steel club stuff we're doing this weekend is going to be a direct carryover for my polo athletes.
Yeah.
We had 2 good magazine articles written this year on us, and one of them, the main picture was us doing steel club stuff for warm-ups.
Nice.
So you can see the carryover. It doesn't matter if it's baseball, football, polo. This stuff is applicable to everybody,
It really is.
you know.
Yeah. I'm always just shocked how little people know about this.
And that's why we're here, man. We're excited to learn more and spread the word.
Yeah, this is why we're here, man. This is all good stuff. So let's tell the folks how they can get a hold of you because I feel like um, you got a lot of things going on with your own company, your own personal things. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Yeah, I think honestly, my Instagram is probably the best way to reach out to me, and from there you can either go to my website or contact me directly. It's Dr. James Spencer, so pretty easy, Dr. James Spencer.
Dr. James Spencer. And your company? You just hired someone
Yep,
to run your social for your company. Are you
yep.
guys up and running on? You have a presence right now? Can people?
Yeah. So,
Where we at?
yep. So go to www.drjamesspencer.com.
Okay.
That's where you can get a lot of information on me, and then social media on Instagram. You'll start to see that blowing up.
Nice, nice, cool, man. Hey, dude, I know this was a quick one. I really appreciate you taking the
It's a
time
pleasure, bro.
and talking to me during our lunch break here. So awesome, dude. Thanks again, and folks, we will catch you next time.
Cheers.
Peace. All right. It was a quick one, quick, fast, and in a hurry. But hey, I really enjoyed just getting to know Dr. Spencer, and we uh, got to spend more time over the weekend and get to know each other even better. Uh, Definitely want to have him back on the podcast so we can dive deeper into stuff. But at least we got a good taste, right? At least we got a good taste. So you got to start somewhere. So, all right, guys, before I go, I would be remiss if I didn't remind you that my good friends over at Jumbo Superfoods make amazing CBD products like their extra strength muscle balm, which is amazing. And I love using it for my hands after jujitsu. Um, Go check them out. I have the link in the notes. Appreciate it, guys. Moving on. The song today was sent to me by The Natural, spelled with 2 L's. You can check him out. Looks like he just released a new album on iTunes. I'm sure you can get it anywhere else you get your music, called All Natural, again with 2 L's. And the song I will be playing for you today is called On My Grind, featuring Bonafide and the Council 360.
Bleach. spike in the road and I'm swerving. I'm doing better before, man, I'm learning. And they still wanna talk shit, but I'm in the game. I'm doing this all on my own, I'm just in my lane. I grew up real, you don't know about my pain. I'm so close to losing it, man, it's in my brain. I'm going insane, man, get on my level. All these other rappers mumbling, they sound on the devil. I can do it on my own, man, it's all on my mind. I can do it on my own, I've been on my grind. I've been on my shit, I ain't wasting time. After this shit drops, I'll be on my grind every second of the day, all year. I barely even sleep, I ain't got no fears. Yeah, I'm about to be the best, man, you just gotta wait. I have a lot of shit that's on my plate. I'm trying to save my family, so I'll be all alone. I'm always in my grind, man, I'm always in my zone. I'm not in school no more, I don't need that shit. I don't trust nobody, I don't need no friends. I could do this on my own, wait till I get these stacks. I'm always on my grind, y'all can tell by these tracks.
I can be more than rights, I can be more than fights. I can be more than life, I can be more than spite. Yeah, yeah. Louder. There's a spike in the road. There's a spike in the road. There's a spike in the road. On my grind, on my grind. On my grind, on my grind. Yeah. On my grind, on my grind. On my grind, on my grind. I cannot fall in line. I cannot board the line. I cannot go inside. Faking house and I'm bending all alone. Pacing back and forth on the phone. Break it, fake it, tickets on the dome.
It's a spike in the road, I ain't tryna pay a toll. I'm just tryna make a roll, I'm just tryna twist the flow. I'm just here to let you know, you ain't even gotta listen, but I bet you wanna know it. I ain't messing with nobody, cause niggas can get annoying. Tryna get this paper, you motherfuckers ain't know it. When you see me in the streets, don't worry about where I'm going. Getting back to my grind, you niggas is wasting time. You really hot in your mind, you sitting there living lies. Try to tell them, suicide is a suicide. Yeah, either way, nigga, you would die. Yeah, on my grind, gotta do it live. Yeah, a lot of shit, I can do it die. But this rap shit is like do or die. Niggas flexing like they ballin', but they really not.
I can be more than rights, I can be more than fights.